Okay, hi everybody. It's the Helm Dev meeting, July 21st, 2022. And I'm moderating. Jaloom is taking notes. Anyone else is free, obviously, to take notes. We've got a couple of announcements and discussion items so far. So, it looks like the announcements are about releases. Do you want to take this one, Farina? Do you want me to just mention these things, or?
I mean, you can just go through them. I didn't add them. This was
Oh, okay.
probably Bridget, who's not here, who tends to
Okay,
add
okay,
them every
great.
week.
Yeah. So we've got milestones that are set up, and hopefully you all know how to see release milestones in GitHub. We can pass the link for anyone who doesn't. And the next one is 3.9.2. That will contain only bug fixes. And the following release is the minor release 3.10.0, and that'll be the next feature release, and it'll be on September 13th, 2022. For those who can't read the notes right now. Cool. So I think speaking of releases, Matt, Farina, you got the first one, the first discussion item.
Sure. So we in our CI tooling had been using the old Circle CI Go images. They have their own images. They pre-cache in nodes, and we use Circle CI for our CI system. And they had stopped at Kubernetes 17.5 or something like that. And Go 1.17.5. Go 1.17.7 was a security release with a whole bunch of stuff in it. And so when we just cut 3.9.1, we cut it with an older version of Go and a bunch of CVEs in the standard library. And somebody pointed this out and brought it up. And so Scott just approved and everything passed tests to upgrade the release branch to a newer version of Go 1.17. Should we go ahead and cut a release that is essentially a rebuild of 3.9.1 on top of this new version of Go and do 3.9.2 and then bump out 3.9.2 to 3.9.3? What do you all think?
+1 from me.
Yeah, I mean it's funny, right? Like what's our policy on, like let's just say let's say we have a release, just a normal release, and we find in a future release that it had a security issue, and we fix the security issue. You know what I mean, Matt?
Well, if it's a security issue of our own, we'd have we'd cut a CVE and we'd have a CVE release,
right,
independent from everything else. And
right. But this one already has its own CV. Yeah, yeah.
this is already this is with the Go stuff.
Yeah,
and so it's a matter of just rebuilding on top of the new version of Go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably just good to mention that like the downsides, right, might be that some like folks' build system may check, like just do like check some things. And...
Oh, I'm not saying we rebuild 3.9.1. I'm saying we release a 3.9.2 that is a rebuild of 3.9.1, and we turn the existing 3.9.2 set for August into 3.9.3. You can't, so yeah, no.
100%. Yeah. Cause I was like, it didn't sound, I guess I was just wanted to hear more. Cause I'm like, it didn't sound like you were saying we should like, yeah.
No, new number, always new.
Okay.
Number,
Okay.
always
Good.
new
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Andrew, any thoughts?
I have no concerns.
Okay. I will try to cut that release maybe today then.
So we should change these announcements then, right? To 3.9.2 will be will be out today as a security release, and then
well, it won't be a security release on our part. It'll just be a rebuild on top of a version of Go that doesn't have CVEs. It's not officially a security release, I don't think.
Right, we can't claim it as our own security release. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just rebuilding in a newer version of Go.
But what do you put in the release notes? You have to put something, right?
Yes, we do. And we've done these in the past. And so what I would do is I'm going to go back to what people have done in the past. I think Matt Fisher was the last one to do something like this and see what he wrote, because it is far easier to follow a pattern that has already been set than to create
Precedence.
your own.
Yeah.
Precedence. It's great. So that's what I'll end up doing.
Sounds good. My browser is lagging a bit. Does someone else want to note that in the announcements? Just that these announcements are now wrong, because we're gonna 3.9.2 is going to be the rebuild. 3.9.3 will contain only bug fixes, and then yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that's great. Because Matt, I'm scheduled to shadow you for the release for the next bug fix release. Do you have time today? Or are you just going to be doing this between things, or do you have time for me to shadow you on?
I could do it right after this call.
Okay, sounds good. Me too.
If CI is done with its merge stuff testing, yeah, we can do it as soon as that's done.
Okay. All right, then, Matt, you have the next agenda item as well.
Yeah. I was just going to say, if you're on a Mac and you run Go Test Suite on a Mac, it fails today because the Go calls out to the system at one point, whether you're on Mac or Windows or whatnot, and the system comes back with a different error message in that's relayed all the way up through Go. And we're looking for the error message that shows up on Windows and Linux, but it fails on Mac. And so I got a pull request for that if somebody has a chance to go review it.
Assign that to me because I have a Mac.
Let's go for a good company.
That was Andy, right?
Yeah, it was Andy.
Retires.
Yeah, if you got a minute.
Yeah, I can get that done. If you can just pass the link on, I can do that like right now.
Okay,
Okay,
it's
so I saw that.
it's in the notes. I'll drop the link in here.
Cool.
There you go.
Philip,
you.
who's on the call, also reviewed this.
Yeah.
And gave
I
a
didn't see that.
a code suggestion. So
Okay.
I looked this over, but I haven't been able to actually do the testing yet to look at the outputs
Okay.
on my Mac. So I was just kind of like, well, which is it? I don't have it yet.
Okay. This was all I had. I'll revisit this PR later.
Okay. Did you want to say anything about that, Philip?
I think my comment is quite clear, if not just both. Yeah.
Okay. I hadn't noticed
Say
it.
it,
I've
but-
been jumping around with things. So
Yeah. One thing maybe I could try running it on Linux as well, but I guess CI uses Linux probably, so there's probably no point in verifying that locally, right? That it doesn't break the Linux.
yeah, it doesn't break on
Testing.
Linux. It doesn't break on Linux.
Yeah.
And Windows uses the exact same error message as Linux. I was
Okay.
reading through the Go source code on that. It's just Mac. In fact, in the Go tests around this, they have separate tests for Mac to test the different error message that comes back. So they independently test this. So, okay. That was it, Scott. Floor is yours again.
Cool. Well, there's nothing else on our agenda right now. But, browser, I'm sorry, folks, about... I can't actually get back to it, so maybe did someone... Oh, here we go. It loaded. Okay, so I have an agenda item to add. Oh, Jalum has one too. Cool.
Yes, I just want to quickly say if we can give the Helm survey one last push, and if people can tweet it out or put it on Slack if they think that's the best way. I think we have 62 responses. If we can get to 70, I think that would be a decent number to close it out. It's been quite a while now. So I just add a link in the notes too.
That sounds great. And we could tweet it out again too.
That'd be helpful. Thank you.
Do you have something already written for what we had said in Slack? I can't recall that.
Oh, I think I don't have it on me right now, but I can put it in chat, and if we can go on for a bit more.
That'd be great. Yeah, because one of us could do the tweet, and then we could all amplify it. I'm happy to retweet it and.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. So then, I have an item that I can't type in because my browser for right now. Because I'm moderating this meeting, I didn't want to restart. So, if someone could, yeah, thanks. Basically, it's about Helm meetups, and it's really just pretty informal because Karen and I had talked about this on some past meetings about, hey, we can sync up and discuss organizing some meetups. So just one thing I wanted to note is that I will definitely sync with you again, Karen. You know what I mean? We can get together. Now that you're in New York, it's even easier. It's so cool. But at least for the NYC Kubernetes meetup, those are getting started again. And I know that Karen knows this, but the rest of you might not. So I've been meeting with Ariel Jatib, who helps to run the Kubernetes meetups in several different cities. Excuse me, and including the one in New York. And we have a venue that we should probably all meet with the person who's running the venue. It's a company in the One World Trade Center that has an entire floor, and they're happy to help with beverages and snacks and host us and deal with all of that stuff. So that's really great. The reason I'm mentioning that in the Helm call is because we had discussed having separate Helm meetups, maybe, or at least I've been asking about that because I would really like to see that. But when talking with Ariel, I brought that up too, and the idea was, well, why don't we just make a Helm section as part of the regular Kubernetes meetup, because Helm's such a big part of the Kubernetes ecosystem, and that sounded good so far to everyone, and yeah, so I'm just dropping that, saying the idea is to do these locally to build a vibrant local community. So one thing that I got from Ariel was that the interest isn't very high in people that are coming into town to speak, that really want to try to work with people who are local for these, and then sort of save the out-of-town drop-ins for other kinds of meetups or other meetups. But that is all to say that that's the idea right now, and if folks have ideas about that or things that we can share or ways that we can help, engage the community, I was just thinking right now, I have some ideas, but it's not really, it's definitely not set in stone, and it's something that I would obviously work with Karen on, this community manager. And my thought was just, hey, we could do some of the similar goals that we had for, the KubeCon track, we could test that out in local meetups, even. So, but that's all I had, and if anyone has ideas, I'm all ears now and through Slack or whatever.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, you and I are obviously in New York City, but if anyone else on this call or anyone else with colleagues in other cities want to do talks as well, like feel free to let me know. Like Scott mentioned, Ariel Ariel and his colleague a while back started like a ton of the Kubernetes meetups like in the US. So Ariel has like means to help facilitate other meetups as far as I know. And I've also worked with a few different Kubernetes meetups across the country as well. So this doesn't have to just be like a New York thing. If any of you are interested in giving talks at your local chapters and I can support you in any way, please let me know. Because yeah, I can also like help sponsor, I guess like locations or food and drinks, things like that. And yeah, if any of you have colleagues as well who like might have something interesting about Helm to talk about, we can work with that as well.
Yay! Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, and you know, like, it might sound like a broken record because we've mentioned it in like very recent meetings, but like all the way from the last KubeCon maintainers track talk through almost every meeting since is, you know, we need people to help review PRs. We need people to realize now that there's room to be more engaged with the Helm project than perhaps they felt like there would be before. And that we're actively seeking and like making an effort to help onboard people into being more engaged with the project. So not only on a consumer level, or not only just consuming it or as a user, but as a contributor, and perhaps even helping to maintain parts of it. So yeah, I think that would be like maybe one of the main goals I was thinking, but for this. Let's see, what else? Those are actually all our agenda items. Does anyone have anything else that they weren't able to add that they want, or question or anything like that? Okay. Oh, actually, I have one more. I have one more, but this is a very short one. I think we're done. It sounds like with other agenda items, but there was a question that Bridget brought up a while back about how and if how we want to handle updating a blog post that people have made a PR to update, which was the one that Farina and I wrote on tools to work with Helm declaratively. You know, I have made a PR that I'm going to close to show the updated date on blog posts. If we really want that feature, I could just like remove the other things that I added, the other updates, and just add that feature to the website, and we could always do that because it works and it looks okay if we like that. Just basically shows that this post was updated, if it was, and when. But the thought is, hey, we don't want this to be a living document. You know, it's a blog post written at a specific time period. A lot of the old blog posts could use updates if we really want to do that. We should write new blog posts if they're really relevant to do that. We could potentially, so what Matt and I talked about is, I think what would make the most sense is updating, like just adding an update to that saying, you know, see this docs page for the living document, and then the parts that are relevant to something that would be good for docs and not just a blog post can be moved to a docs page. And that's something that I was going to do, and then tell that other person in that PR that they're welcome to make a PR against that. If anybody has objections to that, you know, let me know, but that sounded like the way to go that would work for us. Okay, I'm not hearing anything else. 6 minutes back, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Oh, one thing. Sorry. Wow. Who would like to be the assignments for the next call? Damn. Who would like to be moderator next time? If there is anyone that would like.
I can do it. You've done it for several weeks now.
You want to do it, Karen? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Woohoo! Woo woo! And then notes. I can take notes if no one else wants to. But, and then the other thing is issue triage and PR review. So is anyone available to help with issue triage this week? And is anyone available to help with reviewing PRs? They don't have to be the same people. I can definitely help with, well, what Matt and I did last time, or Matt and I and Philip did last time, was Matt hosted the issue triage and we shadowed him. We could do that again. I could try my hand at hosting that, Matt, so you don't have to this time, and have other people shadow who would like to. Why don't I just say I'm going to do that? And then,
Sure, sounds good to me. Sorry,
Okay,
I couldn't get to
cool.
my unmute button very quickly.
Oh,
Yeah, if you want to try hosting it, go ahead.
okay. Yeah, just want to take a little bit of the pressure off of you, and since it's kind of fell on your shoulders for a while, almost like what Karen was saying about hosting. Yeah. So, and I don't know if anyone else on this call wants to join those, but if you do, please do, and put your name down under issue triage. And I think we had a plan, Matt, to, I don't know if you still have time to like host a PR review and have others shadow, including me, this week? Or is it like,
This week,
Yeah.
probably no.
okay,
Next week, I'll send you a link and with my availability, and you can see if something fits in there.
perfect. Okay, great. All right, then I think that's it. If no one wants, we just won't have someone doing PR reviews this week. Because I don't know that I want to I don't know that I want to volunteer to do that. Actually, screw it. Just put my name down. I'll volunteer to do it. I just won't actually do the entire cycle. I can actually just work on some reviews. Yeah. All right. So 3 minutes back. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.